Bake with us, Canada. This week's guest bakers are Jen and ASTER GRALEC from Tiny Cakes in Cambridge. And this week's recipe, Brownie Snaps.
Welcome to Baking for Change. I'm your host, Wendy Pauls, and we have another delicious episode in store for you. I'm excited, as always, to introduce our guest bakers for today. We have Jen and ASTER GRALEC from Tiny Cakes in Cambridge.
Yes.
So thank you for joining us today.
So exciting to be here.
I'm so excited. What you don't know about me yet, but you will, is how much I love to eat baking.
Oh, perfect. We're going to be best friends.
Yeah, we are going to be besties for sure.
Yep.
So let's start by finding out a little bit about your business. Tell us about Tiny Cakes, how long you've been in business, what you bake, anything else you want to share.
So we opened our shop about 13 years ago, and my Aster was very tiny at the time, and her little sister Emma was also tiny. So that's how we do things, everything all at once. So I had two babies, decided to open up a bakery, convinced my husband that it was a good idea. So we remortgaged our house and opened up the store. I know it sounds crazy, but it's been pretty awesome ever since. The kids are now starting to help, and just like the kids have grown up, the business has grown up. So when we first started, it was just cupcakes. That's what we focused on.
I love cupcakes.
Oh, I know.
So that's good.
It's a little cake just for you, a tiny cake, right?
Oh yeah.
But as the years have gone on, we've decided to evolve and add different things to the menu, and our cookies have become really popular. And what is more quintessential to a bake sale than cookies?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
You don't have to worry about refrigeration. You can make them in different sizes, and if you find a recipe that you really, really like, it's really versatile. You can change it up by just simply changing the mix-ins that you add. So today we're going to show you one of our recipes for our brownie snaps.
Ooh, brownie snaps.
And that's what happens if a brownie and a cookie were to fall in love and make a baby.
Oh, okay, I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Yes.
So that's what we're going to be baking today.
Okay. Yeah. Before we get into it, do you each have a favorite item that you make?
It's hard to pick a favorite, isn't it? You would laugh if you saw us at the bakery, because sometimes, we'll go for a break and all foods fit, so it's time to have dessert, and we've eaten our lunch, and the two of us are standing in front of the case trying to figure out what we're going to pick. You, what do you usually go for?
If we have it in the case at the time, I'll usually get the coconut cream pie cupcake.
Yeah. Ooh, oh my gosh.
Right? It's a magical place, my little bakery, I'm telling you.
Wow. I can't believe I haven't been there yet.
I know.
But I'm using the word yet because I absolutely will be there.
We can't wait to welcome you.
Okay, awesome. So let's get started on today's recipe. Just a reminder to you at home that the ingredient list is on the website, so you can go and grab your ingredients and bake along with us.
Please.
So this is what we're going to be making today.
Yes.
And if we do a good job, this is what they're going to look like. We'll see.
You know what? There's no wrong way. They'll be fine. They're beautifully cracked and imperfect.
They are, but they're beautifully cracked. That's
they're beautifully cracked, right? So this, another reason why I love this recipe so much is how versatile the size of the cookies are. So we don't always bake them this big, but if you do, these are perfect for ice cream sandwiches.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, great idea.
Right? So I'll show you how to do both of them today.
Baking for Change is about baking, obviously. We introduce you to some of the best bakers in Canada, and we invite you to bake along with us. But it is also about change, and we mean change in the literal sense. We like to support UNICEF Canada, and we invite you to go to our website and find the link and donate some change. So Jen, walk us through the recipe that we're going to be making today.
So this is a classic cookie recipe, and it's very simple to make, and once you learn the basic techniques, you can apply them to a lot of other recipes. So we're going to start with butter. Not
How
margarine.
much butter? How much?
Not much. How much? Aster, you tell me, please. 1.5 cups of butter.
Okay.
So when you are looking at the ingredient list, it's going to be listed both in cups and then also in weight. So that's going to allow you to scale up or down if you want to make huge batches or smaller batches.
Okay.
So at the bakery, we bake in larger batches. So I would be doing this by weight, but for ease sake, we'll do it by volume.
Sure.
So we have softened butter. Can't use cold butter, has to be soft.
Okay.
Okay, so if you've just pulled it out of the fridge, if you haven't planned enough and it's still cold, not a problem. Aster just took this and zapped it for about, 30 seconds? And it's nice and soft. All right, so we got our butter in the mixer.
All right, what do we got next?
Next, we are going to get this going and start whipping that,
Gotta love mixers.
right?
Yeah, save the arm muscles.
Yes, save the arm muscles. All right, so now we're gonna start the magic.
Okay.
So we have the butter in here that started whipping.
Yep.
And then we're gonna add sugar. We're gonna use 2 different types of sugar. We're gonna use brown sugar and white sugar. And I'll let you in on a little baking secret as to why I use 2. So we use our brown sugar to add chew and softness to a cookie. And then we use the white sugar to add snappiness and crispness.
So we have the crisp and the chewy.
Yeah, that's what makes it a brownie snap, right? Okay, so we'll lift this up. Okay, so we're gonna do 1 cup of brown
1
sugar.
cup of brown.
Yep. What's next, Aster? How much white sugar?
2 cups.
2 cups. It's fine. It's not a lot of sugar, really. And so just put it in there. Again, we talked about being able to do this by weight. Like, I'm out of practice measuring with the cups, eh?
Yes. Well, you do things on a much larger scale
Yeah.
in the bakery.
That's okay. This is fun. All right, so we have both of the sugars in there, and now we're just going to get this whipped up until the butter is pale and it's fluffy and delicious. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so now you'll notice that I've switched to the paddle.
Yeah, why did you do that?
Well, you know what? I should have used that right from the beginning. So when you're baking at home, there's different tools and attachments to use for different things, and the whisk is really good for egg whites and cream. But because we want to cream, in this case, butter and sugar together, the paddle is just a better tool.
I did not know that. Right? Now, a question for people at home that maybe don't have this type of mixer. Can you do this just by hand?
You can. It'll take a little bit. You can also use a hand mixer if that's all you have as well. It's perfectly fine. Just use what you have. And the goal here is just to get this nice and creamy and pale. And another little trick is to stop regularly in the process and scrape your bowl down, because this is going to ensure smooth mixing of all the ingredients.
Gotcha.
So make sure you scrape down at the bottom there. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Because you want this to be one uniform consistency before we add the eggs. You don't want lumpy cookies, right?
No, we don't want lumpy cookies.
Okay. And we're going to close this back down and just keep this going until it's ready for the eggs. So it usually takes a minute, minute and a half.
We hope that many of you at home are baking along with us, and we would love to see. So please submit any pictures that you have to contact@bakingforchange.ca. We might feature them on YouTube, on the show, or on our webpage. So please submit your photos today.
So now that we have the sugar and the butter nice and creamed, it's time for the eggs. Thank you for cracking those. How many eggs do you think you've cracked over the time you've been in the bakery with Mom?
More than, I think, like 500.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's a lot of eggs.
That's a lot of eggs. Yes.
So we're not using 500, we're using 3.
3 eggs.
Just 3.
Okay.
And like the butter, it's best to use these at room temperature. But the butter you can put in the microwave. Eggs, not so much. Do you want to learn or know how to warm up eggs quickly?
I totally do. I didn't know that was even a thing.
It is a thing. I'm teaching you magic.
Yes.
You just get a bowl of warm water, lukewarm water, put the eggs in there and let them sit for a couple of minutes.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay. So again, if people haven't planned ahead and they're grabbing their eggs out of the fridge, they can
Don't
warm
panic.
them.
Yep.
Okay.
You can warm them up. So now that the eggs are in there, we're just going to let this mix and do what we did before. Just keep scraping down the bowl to make sure that everything is nice and smooth and uniform. All right, so we have the butter
Yep.
and the eggs and the sugar.
Yes, the 2 types of sugar.
Yes, the 2 types of sugar.
For crispy and for chewy.
Yes, oh my
See,
goodness.
I remember.
You can come and help at the bakery anytime.
Perfect. You don't want me there. You won't make any money.
It's fine. So now comes the vanilla.
Okay.
So we're going to do 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And once we get that in there, we're going to...
It's very hard for me to wait, by the way. I'm smelling things, and I'm like, my anticipation is so high.
We take a little bit of the vanilla and...
Oh, yes.
Right?
That's right.
Okay, so we're going to get that going. We got the vanilla. We're done with that. And then Aster has gone ahead and already measured out our dry ingredients.
Thank you. Thanks for the prep.
Yeah. So when you're baking, it's always good to have everything ready and prepared ahead of time so you're not running around the kitchen trying to find things and things are flying everywhere. Try and be organized. It doesn't always happen. I am lucky and spoiled that I have a big bakery that I get to work in and a wonderful husband and children who kind of follow mom around the bakery cleaning things up. Yeah, it's great. Y'all should get a team, let me tell you. So in here we have our flour.
Okay. All-purpose flour?
All-purpose flour.
Okay.
I prefer to use an unbleached, high-protein flour. That's what we use in the bakery. The logic there is it'll counteract the sugar that's in the cookies,
Yes.
right? So up the protein a little bit. But all-purpose flour is fine. So we have flour in here. We also have salt, and we have baking soda, and we have cocoa. Is that it for the dry? I believe so. All right, so if you want to zoom in, I can show you the color of this cocoa. We use a Rudy red cocoa, so it has a high butterfat content. So that's, that's what's gonna make it rich and perfect. So here I have all of our dry ingredients whisked together, and Aster is holding a bowl of our cocoa powder. So because this recipe has very few ingredients, you want to make sure that every ingredient you're using is the best that it can possibly be. Hence, the fancy cocoa powder, the Rudy red cocoa powder. We get this from one of our suppliers, Dawn Foods, but you had asked earlier where everybody at home can buy it, and you can go to the bulk barn and look for Rudy red, and it's going to be really deep in color, and it's going to have a really strong smell, and that's how you know that that's the right one.
Let's take a tour of the Tiny Cakes website.
Tiny Cakes is a bake shop that Jen and Arthur Gralec opened in Cambridge, Ontario in 2010. They offer an incredible array of breads, cupcakes, cookies, pastries, and desserts. French boule. The French boule gets its name from the shape, boule meaning ball. Made with the same ingredients as the French baguette, the shape lends itself very well to sandwiches. This lean dough bread has a nice texture and an amazing crust. Roasted garlic loaf. Rich flavor with a hint of sweetness from the slices of roasted garlic. This loaf has a substantial texture. It is great toasted and makes an excellent grilled cheese sandwich. Rosemary focaccia. This light and airy loaf is how focaccia should be. The right ratio of rosemary and sea salt will excite your senses. Try it lightly toasted with butter and a slice or two of Black Forest ham. Caramel. Their chocolate cake topped with cream cheese buttercream and drizzled with caramel. Simple ingredients, amazing taste. Birthday cake. A slight variation on their vanilla bean cupcake. This one is a vanilla cake with multicolored confetti baked right in. It's topped with vanilla buttercream and sprinkled with more sweet confetti. Chocolate raspberry. Chocolate cake filled with raspberry filling without seeds, iced with a raspberry reduction buttercream, and sprinkled with shredded dark Belgian chocolate and a raspberry filling kiss. Frosted all butter sugar cookies. An all butter sugar cookie frosted with sweet vanilla crusting buttercream. French macaron. This is a Parisian classic. This particular version combines almond flour and unbleached flour. A variety of flavors are available and changing seasonally. Snowball cookies. Ground almonds and chocolate chips combined together for a shortbread texture for this classic cookie. Comes packed 12 pieces in a bag. Cinnamon brioche. Buttery brioche dough with the right amount of sweet cinnamon and raisins. Drizzled with a vanilla glaze, this classic Viennese pastry is super delicious. Lemon meringue tarts. Lemon meringue tart a la tiny cakes. Sweet shortbread almond pastry filled with lemon curd and topped with classic vanilla Swiss meringue. Bruleed to perfection. Big enough to share, small enough for one. Pecan butter tarts. A sweet shortbread pastry shell formed by hand, filled with chopped pecans and a classic butter tart filling. Finished off with pecan halves. This is definitely not your typical butter tart. Carrot cake. Called the world's best carrot cake. There's no room for nuts or raisins in this recipe. Super moist, this cake is topped with cream cheese butter cream. Chocolate truffle mousse. Sometimes the simplest of ingredients result in something extraordinary. This dessert is just that. Belgian chocolate, real cream, and a little gelatin to help hold the dome shape create this exceptional dessert.
All right, so now all of that dry that I had whisked together, it's all combined. So now we're gonna add it all at once into the wet. So this is your standard creaming method.
Okay. Why do some recipes have you add like a little bit at a time and other recipes allow you to add all the dry?
That's a good call. It depends on the structure of the baked goods. So if you want something, if something by nature has a more delicate structure like an angel food cake where you need a lot of air incorporated, then you have to add the dry slowly so you don't knock all that air out that you spent so much time putting in there in the first place. But we're making brownies, and brownies are dense. We're breaking brownie snaps. They're dense. So we're allowed to just dump it all in.
I love that.
Right?
Keep it simple.
But do not turn this on at full blast right now. Okay?
Well, it'd be entertaining for our
Ooh, it
viewers
sure
at home.
would. But while you can put all the dry at once, do not start this at high speed. Start a little bit.
Yes. Or we're gonna have like a cocoa cloud.
A cocoa
flour
cloud, which, I mean, the air would be delicious.
It would be.
But this is going to stain. So as you're watching it, you can see it slowly start coming together. Can you see that happening?
Yes, yes.
So as it starts coming together, then you can safely turn up the speed.
Once
look
we're
at
not
that.
seeing so much dry.
You got it, yep. So
Yep.
now it's starting to come together like
Yeah.
Like
And it's
a dough.
getting darker and richer.
smell that,
Oh,
right?
yes. Do we get to like lick the?
Um,
Maybe not.
Maybe off camera. There you go. So now pull this up and you check and you see how that has gotten clumped together. So it's
Yes.
the perfect
It's
texture
gorgeous.
because now we're going to be able to scoop this.
Perfect.
So here is the finished dough.
Okay.
Okay. So perfectly fine to bake like this. This is your traditional brownie snap. It's the cousin to the brownie snap. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're good to go like this, but as I mentioned earlier, it's such a versatile recipe that you can change it up with just a bunch of different add-ins. So some of it we're going to bake plain, and some of it we're going to do add-ins. So I'm going to bring them in here.
So what do we have here?
So these are some of the add-ins that we have to change up the flavors. So we have our mini M&Ms.
Okay.
Our peanut butter chips, right?
Yes.
White chocolate chips, and scorbits.
Ooh, delicious.
So you could totally use walnuts, peanuts, whatever you want. There's no rules
Sky's
or
the limit.
limit. Yes. So we're gonna get Aster to pick one, and we're gonna get you to mix it in. Which one do you want to do?
Let's do M&Ms.
Okay, perfect. So now Aster is putting in the M&Ms, and it's okay if you eat a few.
All right.
While you're baking.
And what about quantity? How can you tell?
By your heart.
Okay.
I
I
know that
wondered.
sounds
I
cheesy.
wondered. Yes. Yes.
If you're going to make the whole recipe as it's listed, it will handle about 1.5 cups of add-ins.
Okay.
But what we did is we took about 1/3 out of there.
Okay.
And we decided we're going to do the M&Ms. So I would say about 1/2 cup in there, Aster.
Probably, yep.
Yeah.
Do you ever do like double add-ins?
No, but we
Oh.
should. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
She's coming to the bakery.
I'm totally
Coming
coming to
to
the bakery.
Right.
And this is just a matter of just stirring them in. Again, you're going by visually when they're mixed in well. Okay.
There's a lot of science to baking, as we all know, but there is some room to just play around, and this is where you get to play around. It doesn't have to be exact. That looks great. Now we can scoop.
It is a bit of a stiff dough, so it is going to be an arm workout trying to mix in any add-ins.
That's why us bakers have strong arms.
Yes, absolutely.
So now we're scooping them. So you want nice equal scoops, so just scrape it against the side. You want it nice and flat. And pop it into the sugar. And then just
Roll
give
it
a
around
roll
a bit.
around. Yep. And then we take it out of the sugar bath, put it on the tray, and then flatten.
That's it.
That is it. Nice and easy.
Love it.
Yeah.
What's next?
Well, now we bake.
Perfect.
So you got them on your line sheet, and they're going to go into the 350 degree preheated oven for 8 to 12 minutes. So you can never take away time, but you can always add. So please set your timer for 8 minutes and check them. If they're not crispy enough when you check, put them back in for the rest of the time. You can tell that they're crispy by touching the outside edges. And if it doesn't deflate, then they are good to go, because when you pull a cookie out, it doesn't stop baking the minute it comes out of the oven. There's the residual heat in there. So you don't want to overbake, but you don't want to underbake. So it's just practice.
So with our small scoop, this is our finished product here.
Yes.
We've got our mini M&Ms in here,
Yep.
and it makes that's a nice size.
And you can eat
A reasonable size
Well,
cookie.
of course,
To
you
eat
can eat about 4 of them,
multiples.
5, 6.
That's what I'm thinking.
Whatever, no
Like
judgment.
I pretend I'm gonna have like one cookie and then maybe just another one and another one.
But you eat them for joy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but I think you're going to show us something else.
Yes.
Something else we can do with this versatile recipe.
Exactly.
Okay. Show
so
us.
we had talked about the different add-ins that you could mix in, and Aster did it with the M&Ms.
Yes.
But you can also totally jazz them up to match the season if you want to make them look a little extra special.
Okay. So you've got some melted chocolate here.
Who doesn't love chocolate?
I
Chocolate,
don't know.
more chocolate. So not only did we talk about adding different add-ons into the recipe itself,
Yes.
we can always also change the look and have these match a certain theme or event with these beautiful pieces of sugar called dragées.
Dragées. Okay.
Yes.
I've never heard this word.
It's a fancy word for pearls.
Okay.
Okay. So we have some mini micro pearls. We also have some sugar leaves, which I thought would be a nice
yes.
touch for this time of year.
Fall.
With fall. Some Halloween mix, and then some little gold confetti.
Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah, so I'll just show you how to dip cookies and decorate. Super easy.
Baking for Change is produced by Goodie Goodie Bakery, a nonprofit bakery providing training and jobs for refugee youth. And one of the ways that we're going to be helping raise funds for this program is with a pop-up bakery. So once a week on Fridays from 10 to 3, you can find this pop-up bakery at Community Christian Reformed Church on Bleems Road in Kitchener. Check our website for details.
So we're going to dip the cookie right in the chocolate like that.
Love that.
Right? Shake off any extra. Put it down on our parchment. And for that, the other one we used our leaves, so let's see what the pearls look like. Oh, super pretty.
Oh, very, very
Right?
nice. Yes. Oh, I think, yeah, kids would have so much fun helping
So
with
much
this.
fun. And you can go to Bulk Barn and get all sorts of different sprinkles, colored sugar, really anything you want to do.
Yes.
And they're so pretty.
And you could do white chocolate.
You could do white chocolate. You could do anything that you'd like. Yeah, lots of room for creativity and fun.
All right, let's do a little variety here. We want to see the different options. So what are we going to do next?
So let's do these Halloween-inspired ones.
Ooh, yes. So how often do you help out at the bakery?
I work every Saturday during the school year, and then during the summers, I work pretty much every day of the week at the bakery.
Oh, that's amazing. And do you get to do some of these sorts of things, like help decorating, or are you more out front?
I do more of the front of house work, but I also do a lot of the orders in the morning when we're getting those ready.
They are a fantastic sidekick.
Ah,
That help me get all the orders ready in the morning and ready for pickup. Yeah.
Oh, that's very, very important. Yes. And who has to do cleanup?
That would be me.
What?
Most of the time. Most of the time.
No. Dad. That's Dad's job normally.
Well, there's dishes and sweeping and putting things away.
Listen, friends, they're making it sound like they don't have any fun at the bakery. Oh, they most certainly do. Right?
And how much do we eat of the baked goods on a regular basis?
Quite a lot, but I've been trying to cut back because it's becoming a problem.
No such thing.
Oh, look at this beautiful assortment on here. You guys would be the hit at the cookie exchange parties.
Right? That's what we should do. We should have a big cookie
Beautiful.
exchange party.
Check that out. We have now reached my favorite part of the show, where we get to taste what we've been working on here. So we're being joined for tasting by our production assistant, Crystal. We didn't want you to miss the best part. You're working hard, so enjoy. So let's
Cheers.
grab a cookie,
Yeah, and
a little bit of milk, and before we have our first bite,
cheers.
cheers for all of our hard work today.
Yes. Okay, I can't wait anymore.
No, I can't wait either.
So we can dunk.
Ooh,
Oh,
all right.
they fit. Yep.
They fit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, yes.
They're so good. They're so snappy.
Snappy, oh my goodness.
Right?
Okay, that cocoa, you can taste the difference of that cocoa. Wow. You guys, I hope you baked along with us at home, because you need to be eating these right now.
Yum.
What do you think?
Perfect.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Will you be making these at home?
Of course, definitely.
Definitely. I'm feeling bad for our cameraman missing out.
Oh,
He's
here,
gonna
we'll,
have to
we'll
wait.
slide one over to him. How can you be not happy eating these?
They are honestly delicious. I am super impressed. Jen, Aster, my new best friends, thank you so much for joining us today, for telling us so many baking secrets, for introducing us to these delicious new cookies that are going to be one of my regulars now. So thanks for joining us today at home, and we hope you'll join us next week for another episode of Baking for Change. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Special thanks to Wendy Pauls and Jen and Aster Gralec, Crystal, and Community Christian Reformed Church.